Days Day for a look at this interview. Yesterday, the South African Revenue Service, at SARS, announced that it had received 5.94 million tax returns at the end of this year's tax season by non-provisional taxpayers. This year, SARS saw 11.52% more returns than in 2014, which includes individuals, trusts and prior year submissions. Jonas Makwakwa, the Chief Officer of Business and Individual Tax at SARS, is joining us from our, if I'm not mistaken, our Pretoria studios this morning. So let's say a very, very good morning to him. Jonas, thanks so much for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Good morning, Leanne, and morning live viewers.
All right. Now, since 2014, the Revenue Service received 11.52% more returns. Talk to us about the reasons behind this.
Leanne and viewers, it is the efforts of SARS trying to educate and to encourage taxpayers to comply and honor their obligations. But at the same time, it's the more awareness that the public is having on their responsibility to comply with tax regulations.
Yeah. Has the slow growth in the economy affected revenue collection in any way whatsoever?
Yes, indeed. It has affected the revenue collection. However, SARS has put very stringent measures in place to encourage and garner our own staff, 14,000 staff members, to actually look at all the options that we can put in place to collect revenue for the state.
What was your target for revenue collection when we look at the 2014-2015 financial year?
It was the current target is 1 trillion and 81 rands, and the minister actually adjusted it due to economic performance to 1073 trillion.
Okay, and just in terms of meeting this, did this happen?
We are in the process. Remember, the financial year end is coming end of March. Okay. And we are quite confident that SARS is going to meet that target.
All right. Okay. So you are confident you'll meet it. Now, if you look at those that did file their taxes, did you receive more returns from individuals or organizations and trusts? What did you find was happening more?
We have actually received much more returns from the individuals, and despite the fact that we actually increased the threshold for filing of returns, basically what we were actually expecting less returns because we wanted less people to actually file their return because of the threshold that we increased. There is actually rules that actually determines who actually doesn't need to file. For example, if you are employed you have got one single source of income, you don't need, and you are earning 350,000 and below, you don't need to file your return. However, we also received quite a sizable number, which is about just over 600,000 of old returns from the previous years. But for this current filing season, we are quite satisfied with the returns that were submitted.
All right. What is let's first have a look at the percentage of returns submitted had outstanding taxes that still had to be paid. Was that a larger amount than those that had to actually pay in?
Just repeat that question, Leanne.
In terms of the percentage of returns submitted that had outstanding taxes that still had to be paid, did we find that was more than those that had to pay in?
Yes, we actually received, like you have mentioned, 5.94 returns. Of those 5.94 returns, 1.8 million had to receive refunds back. Okay. The rest of them are actually either break even, meaning that they don't have to pay anything, but the balance of them have to pay. All right. Okay. And we have to also indicate to South Africans that filing a return does not mean that you are getting a refund. It's about reconciling your taxes for the year, and you might actually be expected to make a payment to SARS.
Yeah. As we sit here now, what is the amount of outstanding taxes in South Africa?
You mean as in value or as in returns?
As in...
in returns?
Yeah, in returns.
Leanne, there is quite a sizable number of returns, and these have actually accumulated over the years. For this past filing season, just over 300,000 people didn't file their returns. And we would like to warn those that didn't actually file their returns that they will be met with quite a lot of penalties. The penalties actually range from 250 Rand up to 16,000 Rand for each day that the return has been outstanding. But historically, we have accumulated outstanding returns which are amounting to quite a few millions.
All right, let's leave it there for this morning. I think just giving South Africans a little bit of an understanding as to the South African Revenue Service announcing it's received 5.94 million tax returns at the end of this year's tax season by non-provisional taxpayers. And talking to us about this was the Chief Officer for Business and Individual Tax at SARS, Jonas Makwakwa, in our Pretoria studios. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, let's take a